In this video we're gonna try to start working on the rear drivetrain. So this is what we're gonna use for the rear. We'll probably end up making new knuckles for the rear for lighter weight, and we're gonna get rid of the brakes. We're only gonna have one single rotor in the differential. These came out of a early 90s Subaru Outback. There's a CBR. And this is that same differential out of the Subaru. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this open and take the carrier out, and we only really need just the splines, and we'll take the ring gear off and try to fabricate something for the sprocket to bolt onto. Basically, this is what we were after. We're gonna take the ring off the carrier, but basically what we want is here on the inside where the CB axles are splined, and we're gonna get rid of the spider gears and all that, and we'll try to find some pillow block bearings that match the outer diameter of the carrier, and then we can just do a sealed bearing. It'd make it easier on maintenance. Okay, so this is what we were after. Carrier. So I'm gonna press these bearings out, and I'll go find some pillow block bearings that fit the outer diameter of this, so we can mount it. We'll take the ring off of this, and we'll see how the sprocket matches up to that. We might have to re-drill it. We'll see, but that's up next. Okay, so here we hung the engine just to get a rough idea of where it would go, and we're having the bottom of the oil pan be same level as the bottom of the chassis. I started making just a rough mount here, welding it on here, and we cut some round tubing going into the stock engine mount. I threw the exhaust back on just to get a rough idea of where we need to place the engine and for clearance. I still have to get it centered and level, but as of right now it's pretty close. It's only about a 1/16 off center. So I will tack it more in place, make a few more mounts, and I think we're gonna come out from the bottom of the chassis here with the rectangle tubing, so we can make our mounts for the back of the engine here. Okay, so I got the rest of the engine leveled and straight. We're only about a 1/16 off. I added this extra cross braces here. It will help with the lateral support. So now it's shouldn't move other than up and down. It'll pivot on this. Once I start working on the other rear mounts, I will get a true level this way. But this is what it looks like now. Did the same thing on this side. Everything's just kind of tacked on for now. Make sure everything works, but it shouldn't really go anywhere. Okay, so here on the bottom we added these new cross members. We left it a little long here because we don't know how long it needs to be for the differential and other stuff, so that's just temporary. I have the engine supported with the jack stand so we can make the mounts, the rear mounts here, support the engine. For right now, for temporary, we're gonna add a mount from the top of the cage all the way down, just to support the engine when it's hanging. Okay, so we just added this right now, temporary, help hold up the weight of the engine. Now we gotta figure out how to make some mounts that'll go back here. Thinking maybe some round tubing and come down with more round tubing here and connecting both of them together like an H. We'll see. So this is it with the rear mounts tacked in place. They'd have to move this one back just a little bit because the engine wasn't centered, so the sprocket was off a little bit. So unfortunately I had to cut this one and bring it back a little more. I will try to fill this in and make it look as clean as possible, but as of now the engine's straight in the cart. That's where it's supposed to go. Those little guys, we'll probably end up cutting the exhaust right here where I drew this line and get rid of the catalytic converter. Exhaust is probably going to go up, out, and back with the muffler at an angle. This is where we're going to try to do our rear differential, about here. So it's going to go from the engine up to the big sprocket here, and then with that sprocket we're going to have a flex plate, and that's where we're going to do our electric reverse. On the other side of that axle shaft or idler shaft, we're going to mount a smaller tooth sprocket that'll go down and kind of come back down this way to our differential. So it's going to have some gear reduction because of the 29-inch tires we're running, plus we rather have more torque. This thing from the factory on the motorcycle will go 115 miles per hour, I believe. With the gear reduction that I think I'm gonna do, top speed will probably be around 70, I believe, which is still more than I'd want to go in this thing. Maybe we'll see in the dunes, but as of right now, that's the plan. We have them some sprockets on the way. So once those get here, we'll start working on the rear differential and get that squared away.